All right, what's up, guys? We are back with another podcast episode, and I can finally say we only had to do one episode while Will was gone, but we pre-recorded two, so it feels like it's been forever for me since I've chatted with Will. But you're finally back from Italy, dude. How was it?
Yes. No, it was awesome. I will say that it was a bit too long.
Yeah?
I can't believe I'm saying that, but yes, no, it was almost 3 weeks. It was like 2.5. It was like 18 or 19 days. Of course, like 2 days for travel, but it felt a little bit too long. I missed you guys. I missed Pickleball. I missed you. I missed, the audience. Like you said, they probably didn't miss me as much since we pre-recorded too, but I did watch the episode where it was just you, and I saw in the comments you were acting like you did 3 episodes back to back by yourself. They're like, where's Will? Is Will still on vacation?
It was pretty funny. One guy was like, dude, this is not it when it's just you. And I'm like, whoa, man, like, I'm not getting rid of Will. I much prefer it when Will's here. Trust me. Like, I was just trying to keep everyone entertained.
Okay. I thought you did a pretty good job.
That has to be the longest you've gone without pickleball since you started playing.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did it, how did it feel?
To be honest with you, at first it didn't feel that bad because, it's been pickleball back to back to back. We had the tournaments and everything and the events. And of course I started work with Selkirk. So everything has just been pickleball in and out. So it was kind of nice just to step away. But I would probably say a weekend. No, I was craving. I just wanted to hit a ball.
Yeah.
I at that point I didn't even care. I was like, I don't even care if it's pickleball. I don't care if it's tennis, badminton, padel, whatever it is. I just need to smack a ball around. Yeah. But I did not do any of that. No racket sport activity at all while I was gone. I did see a padel court though, but I couldn't play. It was at a private place in this marina, but I did walk up to it. I thought it looked pretty cool just to, kind of get up nice and close. But yeah,
what would your ideal trip length have been?
For that, I think 2 weeks, maybe just under 2 weeks. Okay, so here's the thing. It could have been, I think that length was fine, but there was 8 of us.
Yeah.
And that's a big group. And if you guys listen out there, you already know how hard it is to travel maybe like within your hometown, like within the United States, right? For our US listeners, right? With that many people. So imagine you have 8 people that honestly, some of them I don't know that well. I just met them, to go to a foreign country where you don't speak the language, trying to coordinate things. It can be a nightmare. I'll tell you that right now. That
would be really tough. One of the reasons I was asking is because right before we got on this podcast episode, I was planning Sarah and I's trip to Maui for like January-ish, and I was like looking at flights and looking at some hotels or whatever, and I was like so torn on how long this trip should be, because when we went to Hawaii for our honeymoon, we went for 5 or 6 days, I think, somewhere around there, and by the end of that trip we were both like, okay, ready to just like go home and kind of chill out. Now, granted, this was right after the wedding, so there's obviously a lot of stress like after the wedding. So as I was planning this, I was like, is 5 or 6 days enough? Because I was like, okay, travel days and whatnot. I was so torn. So I don't know. I think as long as I can get some pickleball in while we're in Maui, I'll probably be fine.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing, not getting pickleball in. But I did do a lot of other extracurricular activities, obviously a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. Had to relearn my stick shift manual driving skills.
I don't even know how to do that. I've never done it before.
I don't want to get too far off topic. We're here to talk about pickleball, but if you make it to the kitchen, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about my trip and my travels, and I can regale you with tales of my adventures.
There you go.
But I came here to talk pickleball, man. I missed it. So give me the deets, like what has been happening in the pickleball world. I had horrible internet access while I was in Italy, to be quite honest with you. And I was just super busy, just go, go, go. So, I mean, anything crazy happen? Any gossip? Any new partnerships? Are you still 3.5? What's up?
I mean, here's the thing, dude. It's crazy. Ever since I didn't talk to you for 2 weeks. I shot up a whole level. I'm a 4
There's
or
no
5
way.
now. It's crazy. It's like you were holding me back that whole time. It was kind of wild.
Whoa.
I couldn't believe it.
We've
Everyone
only played
around
one
me-
tournament together.
The day you flew to Italy, everyone around me was like, dude, I've never seen you hit rolls. You can put a ball away now. Your dinks are dink winners. It's crazy. I mean, to be honest, though, like I wouldn't say there was that much crazy stuff, like especially with the break that the PPA has been on, that's kind of left things a little uninteresting. I think there's been a lot of small updates here and there that we'll get into, but I did release my 006 and 005 reviews, and the 005 has been interesting. So
why?
You and I have both talked about this paddle. Neither of us like it. I definitely don't like it. But it was really funny because, or I guess is funny now, people are starting to get it, and I'll see people like you know what like subtweeting is, right?
Yeah.
Like where you're like talking about someone but you don't say it. I'm like seeing people on forums because I'm the only one, as far as I'm aware. I haven't looked. I think there's 2. I think Farmer Lanky also released like negative review about it. But anyways, people are like, man, this paddle, it's really good. Like, I don't know what these negative reviewers were expecting. Then they or they say stuff like, hey, before you listen to these people, maybe you should try it. And I'm sitting here like, bro, I literally said that in my review. I was like, I hate this thing. I don't think it's that good of a paddle. But you know what? I'm not always right. You should absolutely try this and form your own opinion before you base it. It's like I literally covered all of this because I was like, you know what? I think I also literally said this, but I was like, there's going to be someone who loves this paddle and thinks it's awesome. Yep. And there are, and people are popping up now and they're like, dude, this paddle's awesome. There's actually a couple people in my Discord.
Wait, before you say that, one interesting story or that I heard about this paddle was when we were in Texas, in Dallas. I was talking to Kyle Kazuda, that pickleball guy, and he had it and he was hitting with it. And he asked me what I thought about it. I told him I didn't like it. And he told me, obviously I haven't confirmed this, he told me that AJ Kohler was playing with it, before maybe he switched to the new Takea paddle or whatnot, and that AJ Kohler loves it or loved it. And I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's what Kyle told me. And I thought that was very interesting. So maybe AJ is one of those guys.
I will be shocked if any of their top tier pros switch to that paddle. I think
No.
And here's my primary thinking with that. The spin is just worse than a power air, period. The spin is not good. Plenty of these pros, especially the male pros, tend to care about spin. Then on top of that, it's a more control-oriented version of a power air, which was already a slightly toned down 002, and almost none of the pros, minus a handful of them, like Catherine, use a power air. So I'm like, there's just no shot anyone
There's
uses
a few pros.
this thing.
Let me see. Let's see. Catherine, Susanna Barr,
Yep.
Colin Schick.
Yep.
That's all I can kind of think about.
There's probably one or two others if I had to guess.
Yeah, Kaden Nemeth.
Yep.
Yeah, there's probably a few of them. Maybe there's some lower level pros that use it as well, but I think a lot of the top ones use 002. Yeah.
So I'll be shocked if anyone switches. But here's the thing: I think for some people, like I can't remember if I said this in my review. I think I might have. But if you liked the power air, but you just wanted a little bit more control, and I mean a little bit, not a lot, then the 005 you'll probably love it, especially if you don't care about spin. But man, if you care about spin, 005's not it. If you care about hitting the ball really hard, also probably not it. It's got decent pop, but man, it just doesn't feel good. Like we've talked about this quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's just the feel of it, the feedback of it, which is kind of interesting to me because I really like the amp.
Yeah.
And the amp I think is a great paddle, especially when you add a little bit of weight to it. And I think the amp feels good. It gets decent spin. Obviously, I haven't looked at your RPM numbers for the 005. I definitely don't think it was great, but I don't think it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad like low tier. It was just bad relative to the new stuff, basically.
I see.
It was like 1,400. So for like a $200 plus paddle, it was like underwhelming.
Yeah. So yeah, you got some content out. I was watching some of it when I could because my internet was horrible. I did do some content myself, but it was like for Selkirk, for Zane, and I did upload some for me, but I need to order this correctly before those videos are released. Also, I want to tell you this funny story, or at least I think I already told you, but I'm going to tell the audience. So, like many of you know, started working for Selkirk, and I want to tell about this one call that I got. Okay, this guy calls, and he's literally asking me about the Perseus and the Scorpius from Yola, and I was on the phone with him, and I'm like, you do know who you're talking to, right? You do know you called Selkirk, and he like, I don't know if it just went in one ear not the other, but he continued to talk to me and ask me about those paddles, and I thought maybe he wanted to compare them to something, but no, it was just strictly about those paddles. And I mean, I didn't want to be rude, so I mean, I talked to him about it, and I just thought that was a very interesting call.
You know what? You know what it was, right?
What?
It was Mike or Rob taking a family member and recording the call to see if you're loyal. They were like, will he sell his soul to us, or is he going to tell people they should go buy the Perseus? It was a test. And since you still have a job, I'm going to guess you passed.
Okay, well, probably, hopefully.
So funny. That is really funny, though. Like, I would love to know more about that, like why he called Selkirk to talk about Yola.
Who knows? Maybe he dialed the wrong. Maybe beats me, but that was just very interesting.
That's funny. Well, the other thing that did happen, which we both have talked about now, but we got into Seattle, so it was full. We couldn't get in. We put our names on the wait list, and then it was getting so late that it was probably just, even if we got in, I was like, I don't know if I'd go, just because you start making other plans or whatever. But we made it in. And then I was like, screw it. I'll at least check flights because it's a golden qualifier. There's only one other one after this. Should probably just do it. Well, I checked. Flights through the roof expensive, man. We're still a month out. Well, okay, a little under a month from the tournament now. Out from the tournament. And flights from here were $500 to $600. And then when I checked from Tulsa, from your place, the lowest I was seeing was $800 to $900. And I was like, why is it so expensive to go to Seattle? And the only thing I found, Taylor Swift concert the week before. So more than likely it's that, because Isaac, he's actually coming back from Next Gen right now. He was trying to find housing in Kansas, and literally everything and several cities outside of where he was, because, Sarah's family lives there, so we know the area. Every hotel completely booked. Airbnbs booked. I was only able to find...
Wait, in Kansas?
Yes. And there was a Taylor Swift concert the same weekend.
In Kansas?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's why everything was... I was like, dude, Taylor Swift moves economies.
Oh, dude, yes,
like,
for sure.
Changes the flights in Seattle, unless there's something else big that I don't know going on, but more than likely it's that concert. And then, like, every hotel and Airbnb throughout the Kansas area is just... It was insane. Thankfully, I found him like a friend that I knew that he could stay with. But yeah, it was crazy, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I will not be going to Seattle, but you'll be there.
Yes, I'll be there. And I mean, I booked my flights further out. Obviously, yeah, I'm not mad at you, since, you'd just be going there for the tournament. I'm kind of going there for the tournament, but that's kind of secondary. One of my best friends, actually two of my really good friends, live out in Seattle. Just love the city. So I'm going to go visit, hang out, and just enjoy the city for the most part. But I did find a new partner, Jeff Lee, who
I've been playing Valorant with him lately.
Oh, you have? Are you better than him?
Ask him all about it. I carry him every single night. It's insane.
Okay. I'll ask him.
He actually is better than me, but it is surprising. The gap in our rank, I can't remember how many ranks apart it is, but it's a few. Like, he's absolutely a better Valorant player than me, but I don't do nearly as bad as I expect to. So it's
so you're 3.5 at best in Valorant as well. Gotcha. Okay.
I'd have to look. I might not be technically far off from that.
Oh, really?
I'm like plat 1, so I don't know what that. I'd have to check, but that might be like 4.0. Is what we call that, probably.
Might be 4.0. Okay. Well, for those of you guys out there listening, if you didn't know, Valorant is a PC first-person shooter game that Chris plays often and loves it. And I would totally get smoked in that game. But anyways, so I'm going to be playing with Jeff. I replaced one half Asian for another half Asian. Like,
but you know what? Now you know what you'll get to do after this.
What?
You can compare us as partners. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if Jeff has a hard time keeping track of the score, you guys are hosed. This is gonna be like one of those like revenge breakup things where like after you realize it didn't work out and you come back and be like, the price doubled. You gotta pay for my Airbnb and my entry fee.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll see. What if we win? What if I win with him and I didn't win with you? Would you be upset?
No, I definitely would not be upset.
Okay.
Until Jeff, no, I only then when Jeff starts coming to me and he's like, knew I was the better player, then it might be taken personally. Just, hey Jeff, if you're listening to this episode, just know how many video clips we have of you, of me and Will absolutely dunking you. So just remember what's at stake here. Just remember.
It's true. It's funny because some of his clips, actually, he showcases when we dunk on him, which is the funny thing.
So funny. He's taking the approach like me. He's trying to steal my thunder, where you let people make fun of you.
Well, he's doing a good job. But yeah, it should be a good time. I'm gonna have a good time in Seattle. And then also I'll be going to the Beer City Open before that too. And I'm actually just working that event. Me and your brother will be there, just filming, making clips. So if you see me there, come up, say hi. If I look like I'm too busy, I'm sorry. Just let you guys know ahead of time. But I mean, I'm excited to get back in the swing of things, like everything pickleball related. I'm so far behind on everything, but excited for that. Seattle, it's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna miss you. Honestly, Nam's coming, Jay's coming.
Yeah.
Obviously, Jeff's coming. So
I'm definitely bummed to not be going to it, because with Kansas being the only other golden qualifier, like it would have been sick for us to have at least one other chance to try and get a golden ticket. So yeah, I really wanted to go to that, but just as I was like breaking down the business budget recently, I was like, okay. I was like, I would only be going to Seattle to compete, which is not a bad thing, but it's not a great use of time. If there were some other like bigger business things I could do out there, probably would have been slightly more worth it. But I don't know. I'm kind of
another trip out there again.
Yeah, we'll get out to like, some other tournaments, but I think having the month of July off from any travel will probably be good for me, because got a lot of videos to crank through.
Ham. You've been going ham at it. Okay.
Indeed.
Well, let's see what else we got on things. Anyone else noticing public courts being more difficult to use? Wait, well, before talking about courts, I did see that they changed the venue for Seattle.
Yes.
And there's not going to be any. Well, maybe they will. I don't know if they're going to resurface the courts, because it's at a tennis
club.
A place that, like a tennis club, but it's 10 outdoor tennis like courts. So I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like this tournament might be a crapshoot. Might not be run so well, because it's their first big one in Seattle, and we know how tournaments can be run pretty poorly sometimes with the PPA. So we'll see.
You'll have to let me know. Maybe I'll end up being like, phew, dodged a bullet.
Yeah, you might be. You might have dodged a bullet for sure. But I'm moving on.
Yeah, this thing, I just want to talk about this. I mean, this is probably less so for you, especially because you've been gone and probably haven't been on public courts too much recently. But I'm curious out there if anyone else has noticed in their cities, like just public courts being more difficult to use. So the courts by me that I have been going to since I started playing pickleball, it used to be organized extremely well. We had one guy there who was there almost every day, and he was super good about like making sure people knew how to rotate. He was very friendly. He kind of like kept everything moving very smoothly. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, I haven't really seen him this year. I don't know if he's not playing pickleball. I don't know if he's just busy. Maybe he's injured. I don't know why he's not playing pickleball, but he hasn't been there. And there's also a ton of new people. Like I'm seeing a lot more teenagers, college kids, like high school or college groups will show up with like 8 or 12 people, and they kind of just keep to themselves or whatever on a court. But the issue I've been noticing is people just don't know the etiquette. So there's a lot of singles being played, which I don't care. As long as you know to rotate, you can play singles. It doesn't personally bother me. But there's a lot of people when the courts are full and the paddle rack has several lines worth of paddles, people still just aren't coming off. And one of someone from my group recently was telling people like, hey, just so you know, like usually what we do is like when you finish a game, you rotate off, because there was a group of 8 and they were just cycling on one court. And we told them like, hey, yeah, you can't really do that. And this like older guy was like, I don't know if he was mad, but he was just kind of snarky. He was like, no, we don't have to do that. And he was like, well, that's like just how it works here. And he's like, well, I asked the city and the city says I don't have to do that. And I'm like, well, I kind of doubt you asked the city, but sure. I mean, I guess. I'm like, look at these other courts rotating, dude. Like, and he eventually did get off. But I was like, dude, just like, we're literally telling you this is how it works.
Right. Technically, he's not wrong, but yeah, just rotate in and out. The games go by fairly quick, and I mean, that's one of the big spirits or parts of pickleball that we like. So basically, what you're saying is that us, the old guard out here, we need to teach the newbies how it's done, is basically what you're saying.
We probably do. To be honest, someone in my group or me, I mean, it's not going to be hard, but I probably should just start telling people, like, if they appear to be newer or they're not doing it, like, just like, hey, I don't know if you're new, but like, here's just kind of how it works or whatever. Because that happened to me. I remember the first time I was like playing singles on a busy day, and when we finished the game, we were just sitting on the court talking, and this lady came up and she was actually kind of snarky, but she was like, hey, do you know how this works? And I was like, what? I had no idea what she was talking about. And she's like, look at all these people. She's like, if you're not playing, you have to get off the court. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, I didn't know. So, I'm sure it's just a lot of people who don't know. But you can definitely tell, or at least I can tell in my area, the sport is growing a lot, because there is I don't know, probably most of the people showing up at the court anymore, and they're all clearly very new. So, good sign, just very interesting seeing how the public courts have been being handled.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, my courts too, I've been seeing a lot more new people and younger people coming out to play as well. I think I'm going to do something. I'm going to try to get some temporary nets, because at the public court that I typically go to, there's only 4 dedicated courts, and there's 2 tennis courts right behind it that are not being used. They could be resurfaced, but they have better lights. And I thought about just getting some taping up some courts and bring some temporary nets just to, take up more volume and just to see what happens. But that means I'd have to go spend my evenings there and kind of maybe police it, wait until people are done, pack up the stuff. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. We'll see.
We also, this is just more of a side note, we'll go over this quick, but Minnesota, even more indoor facilities. So we had at least
more?
Yeah, we've had at least in the last 6 months 3 new ones open up.
3. Yeah. 3. You said 3.
3 indoor dedicated. Well, 2 of them are dedicated pickleball, and one of them is kind of like a restaurant arcade. Like, it's kind of a hybrid thing or whatever.
I see.
So 3, and we're getting 2 more. So Mega, Rick, he is opening another one that's going to be like a premier facility. It's going to have like 10 to 12 courts, a championship court. Like, it's going to be like a really nice facility. Like, light is really good. And then there was also a proposal submitted for in a city near me, like 15 minutes away, adding 13 indoor courts, and they're supposed to be also like a more premium one, I think. So, like, dude, Minnesota is just keeps expanding the indoor courts.
Jeez. I told you, you guys are nuts.
It's crazy, dude.
I can't believe it. I'm just getting 1 over here, and you getting 3?
And all these people have like their own home courts. Like, I have at least 2 friends who have backyard courts. David, who you obviously know, so I use his all the time. One is where I filmed another video. Another guy from Minnesota hit me up on Instagram recently and was like, hey, if you ever need a home court, like, just hit me up. It's a little bit further from me. It's like 30 minutes, so it's a little less convenient than the 5-minute drive for David's court. But he was like, yeah, you can use it if you ever need a video. And then Isaac told me about another guy who's not far from us. He's like, yeah, he has a backyard court, and you could probably use it to film videos. So I'm just like, dude, I'm very thankful for whatever reason that pickleball is great here, because, like, especially with how courts have been busy lately, having these people who have these backyard courts is absurdly helpful.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, happy for you. I need to come up there and visit you. over in Minnesota again soon.
Get your butt whooped in singles?
That's not happening.
Is that what I mean, it's going to be closer than it ever has been. I got my first set off you in Texas.
This is true. But no, that's not happening.
I think here's what we got to do, man. I think we need to do, whenever you come, we got to like not remake it, but like, do another video like we did the first one for you. And like, we got to like actually make it a big deal, and like, we just got to redo it. It'd be great.
No, we will for sure.
Yes.
We'll make it a yearly thing. We'll make it a yearly thing. An event.
Event. All right. Well, moving on, I just want to talk about DUPR because that has been some of the news lately is DUPR. So one of the big changes, I don't know if you were here for any of this or if it was before you left, but DUPR's changed several things now. So it no longer matters how many points you get in a game. It's only based on your win-loss. So before, they like went backwards on that.
Well, that kind of sucks. What? Okay, whatever. Continue.
So that, what's funny about that though is when that existed, the vibe I got from a lot of people was that they hated the fact that it was based on points. There was like a lot of people in my area who wouldn't play certain tournaments or wouldn't play DUPR matches with people because they're like, well, if I have to beat them 11-2 for me to not go down, I'm just not going to play. So I always felt like people didn't like it, but ever since it switched, people are like livid all over the internet. They're like, this is stupid. Now it's the same thing as UTPR or UTR, whatever I think it's UTPR, whichever one. UTPR. And they're like, it's the same thing as that. I don't even know what makes it special. Part of what made DUPR great was the points. I'm like, wow, everyone just like flip-flopped.
Can't make people happy. Can't make people happy, man.
No. So
I don't even know if that's how UTPR works. I have no idea how.
Yeah, it is. It's only win-loss.
Okay. It's only win-loss.
I do think it made more sense with the points, probably, but I also understand the problems that people were facing with it where they're, like expected to blow a team out but didn't do it. But then this is the part I'm a little fuzzy on, but one of the other major updates was that results are now instant. So as soon as you enter it, your DUPR will change, and I did test that with my brother. Played him in singles. Yeah, I beat him, and my singles rating jumped up right away. So that was pretty cool to see.
Did you have to update it? Because for whatever reason, DUPR on my phone on the app is just either super slow or mine always freezes or the buttons don't work, and I just...
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get to that too.
Oh my gosh. So it still sucks.
Yes, the app
Judging
still
by
sucks.
your laugh, it still sucks. Okay.
It still sucks. And here's what's the funniest part to me. So this is and I told you before the show to go look at this. So they released the DUPR Genie thing. Did you get to go through that much?
I did, and I thought that was an interesting feature, but why?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what the DUPR Genie is, if you go to genie.mydupr.com, it'll take you to this website. You can look up anyone in the DUPR database, and you can set up a imaginary game, and you can enter all the scores, and it will tell you how much your DUPR would go up or down based on the win-loss against them.
Wait, let me stop you right there. You can input the scores, but why does that matter? Because from what you told me, they just look at win-loss. So putting in the score that you so your DUPR goes up by the same amount or down by the same amount.
Probably just to give people something more to do. I had literally the same question because I think I even tried changing the scores just to see if it would impact it, and I don't believe it did when I tried. So yeah, I don't really know what the point of that is. You could probably just have a toggle for win or loss or whatever.
Right, that's like a checkbox.
But here's what's funny about this. There's already a lot of people who, in my opinion, are far too obsessed with DUPR. I've seen it all over the internet, and I know people in my area. They're super protective of their DUPR. They won't play any games with you. They won't show up to certain things, or they're checking their DUPR all the time. They want to see that number go up. I just think that this will only fuel that obsession, because now if you were worried about playing someone, now you're kind of like, oh, well, if they want to play, I can look it up and see if I lost, how much my DUPR would go down. And then maybe I'll decide yes or no, because maybe I only go down by 0.02. And I'm like,
I didn't even think about that.
So to me, it just makes the people who are already too obsessed another way to be more obsessive over it when I already think they don't need to be. Because here's the thing. We all obviously want our DUPR to be high. There are plenty of people who think their DUPR's not high enough, or people who think other people's DUPR's not inflated enough, and people get really rattled about it. My thing is, I'm like, guys, it's just a number. Like, if let's say mine says I'm a 4.0, but I'm beating people who are 4.5s in my state, I do not care that number says 4.0. If I am beating 4.5s, I know I am capable to play 4.5. Like, you shouldn't. It kind of feels like some people just base their like pickleball identity off of DUPR
around their number. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
Now, this is where I will give people a break if these things are true. If there is a club around you that only allows you to play certain leagues or DUPR events based on DUPR, you get a pass. Because if you feel you're a 4.5, but your DUPR is like 4.35, and you really want to play in that 4.5 league, but you can't because of your number, I get it. You want to get it up so you can play that. But pretty much beyond that, or anything related to pros, I'm like, guys, it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. People get a little too bent out of shape about the number.
I haven't met any of these really obsessed people that you're talking about.
I just know people in my state. People talk about the people who are obsessed with the
okay. Well, I mean, you do have a lot more pickleball players since, you're getting 3 brand new indoor facilities. So you must have a crap ton of people playing. So out of that, percentage of them must be obsessed with it. So that makes sense.
Yes, for sure. So anyways, the reason I laugh about the DUPR Genie is because in my opinion, it's not that useful of a thing. It only feeds a thing that isn't healthy in my opinion. And then on top of that, the app is still atrocious. Literally, I was using it before this episode just to see if anything would happen. So every time I open that app, it says, your session has expired. You have to tap the button like 6 times, then it goes away. Then the app freezes. Then I have to restart it. Then I can open it and use it. And I'm like...
Then sign on again.
Yeah, or log in, log out. Like, my thing is... why add this mostly useless feature when your app is riddled with bugs that make using it annoying? That's what made me laugh. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, just all the applications and websites surrounding pickleball are all fairly weak right now, including pickleball brackets.
Fairly is generous. Definitely generous. I'm sure we'll get used to pickleball brackets and hopefully it gets better, but man, the one thing here's where I'll give pickleball brackets credit. If I hit the back button on a page, it actually works on pickleball brackets instead of just like freezing my browser or taking me to a blank page on pickleball tournaments. So I am glad that's over with.
This is true. This is true. There's some things that are better. Some things still need some work. Like just the other day, since you can't come to Seattle, I was trying to change partners or drop you, and then I could go to the place where it's edit registration, and then I can select a new partner. But as soon as I hit forward or hit next on the next screen and save the edited registration, your name is still populated there. So I had to email them to, for them to take you off and then to add my new partner. And then they're like, oh, can you also copy Chris, your partner, in the email chain so that they can also confirm and do it? Man, I was like, oh gosh, okay, yes, I can do that. And
dude, you know what I should have done when I responded to that? If I had been a smart podcast co-host, I would have emailed back and said, what, in all caps, and said, I never approved this. Why are you trying to dump me? This poor guy would have been so confused. He would have been like, what the heck is going on? That would have been funny. Next time.
It would have been a story to tell, for sure.
Yes. All right. Well, moving off of DUPR, this was the other news that the PPA hasn't made an announcement about, but an email went out, and then I believe NML got a hold of it, and then pro players were talking about it. The backdraw is essentially going to be gone, Will. So how it's going to work is if you lose in round 1, you'll go to the backdraw. But if you go past round 1 and you lose, It's single elimination. Like, you're just done after that.
This is for all PPA tournaments?
Yes, for pro only, not for amateurs.
Oh, for pro.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense, I guess, just to keep the pros healthy, I guess, playing games and, saves up on time. So, and other professional sports, I guess, kind of do single elimination as well. So I guess that's good. It would have sucked for the amateurs because you paid all the money just to, not.
Oh, that would be terrible.
lose.
I think they'd lose all their amateurs. That would be a way to just kill your tournament overnight.
Right, exactly. So, I don't know how I feel about it. I guess I'm okay with it if it's just the pros.
Yeah, I think I'm mostly indifferent. The only argument, one of the main arguments I've been seeing online that I agree with a little bit is if you are an upcoming pro, it kind of sucks because let's say you go past round 1, now you don't even have the choice, I guess, to go get the extra experience or points,
experience.
playing more pros, whatever. But I think we all saw this coming with how many of the top pros drop out as soon as they go to the backdraw.
Yeah.
It only made sense. They don't want to waste their energy. So I think what really has to be done, or in the future what they'll have to do, is you're just going to need a tournament or league or something for these people who play the qualifiers. Like, you have to play a number of these or win a number of these or amass a certain number of points, and then you can start like playing on the PPA tour.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. They're probably starting to imitate or mimic other, professional sports tournaments. I mean, I know tennis does something similar to that. You make it through qualifiers to make it to the main draw, and then of course there's the Challenger Tour to get enough points so you can, play in the regular PPA. So maybe that's something that they're working towards, and yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Also, I think it would help if they did something. I mean, I guess if they still have to keep the qualifier, I don't know. I think things would have to be restructured. But another thing that newer pros have been talking about is like the qualifier dates are usually on a Wednesday. I've maybe heard sometimes on a Tuesday. I haven't confirmed that, but I know for sure they've been on a Wednesday. So if you are a new pro, that means you need to fly in on Tuesday, play on Wednesday. And if you make it through that might mean you need to stay till Friday or Saturday, in which case you essentially stayed for a week, which is a lot of extra cost, a lot of time off work. So like if you don't have a lot of money, I feel like just playing the qualifier is hard.
Yes. Yep. So you're thinking that it should be a separate event where it's played on the weekend so more potential pros can play and have the opportunity to compete, gain experience, gain points, or what have you, so that they can play in the actual PPA or whatever tournament that they desire.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's going to really start boiling down to money. I mean, I think pros
boiling down to money, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's all really expensive. So now, I mean, think what we've spent on some of these trips, and now imagine we got to get there on Tuesday, and like, if you're not splitting stuff with people, like, I don't know, especially because think about it for them, like, at least for us, it's our job in that, like, we're creating content and we're making money that way. A lot of these pros are quitting their jobs, and pickleball is now their full-time income. So it's like, if you're not winning, which is attracting sponsors, you're not making money. So I don't know. I think it'd just be a lot of pressure.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So interesting to see how the whole pro circuit is kind of just developing, and what's going to make it, how you're going to make it,
Yeah.
It's hard. It's only getting harder.
Definitely only getting harder, both in competition and I think just financially for some of these guys. But
okay, another quick question about that. So if you're playing pro and you lose in the first round, you go to the back draw. So how high can you go in the back draw?
That I actually don't know. I didn't see anything about that, but if I had to guess, not very high. I'm assuming it might only even be points at that point. That, or it's the classic like 5th or 6th type of deal.
I almost feel like if you're a pro in training, you go to some of these tournaments, maybe you just lose on purpose in the first round just so you can play the backdraw and get all the points and all the experience and play more games?
I don't think anyone. I think they'd rather just win. I think you'd probably benefit yourself a lot more winning some rounds than.
Well, what if you only won 2, or what if you won the first round and then you lose the second? So that's 2 games. Whereas if you lost the first round and then you had 3 more games following in the backdraw.
I mean, I guess we'll see. I have a feeling that backdraw is not going to mean much. I think it literally only means something to those like really new guys, and even then, I guess we'll see how valuable it really is.
I don't know why. Like, if that's the case, then why put a backdraw in the first place? Why not just get rid of it altogether?
I think it's literally just for those guys to if they go out quick to, you know, like a Riley and a Matt. I mean, not anymore. Rest in peace. But rest in peace that team, not any individual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no one died. I realized you were gone for a while. No one's actually dead.
I was like, what?
Yes. But yeah, it's, you know, if you lose to one of them, like if you and me were playing and we played them, well, now you'd just be out. Like it would suck to pay $400 and just be gone.
Yeah. That's what, well, I mean, so you make it through the first round and then the second round you lose to.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to suck.
This is the same thing, essentially.
We'll have to see how everyone ends up feeling about it. If you're a top pro, you're not going to care at all because you're not going to the backdraw that often. Like top guy, you know, like a Riley or someone like that. But
okay. Makes
yeah,
sense.
it's all very interesting. But don't have too much more. I just like 2 more main things. One of the things I want to talk about was I was playing singles with a buddy the other day. He's probably about a 5-0 singles player, I'd say. We ended up playing 9 games, which is so much singles.
9 games.
We played 2 3 out of 5s, which was crazy.
Okay.
So so it was interesting. We kept talking about this while we were playing. So I think a lot of people probably know that when you're playing singles, like you're usually swinging fast, you're running a lot, like there's a little more panic or like trying to hit certain shots. And like I just noticed I was like rushing a lot of shots and it was going horribly. And our games either ended up being really close or he'd kind of blow me out. Well, in the second 3 out of 5, I was like, I'm just going to go like as precise as I can while still hitting a decent shot, not just like lobbing the ball. And not rush things, like try and get to the ball, but don't like panic swing or anything. Dude, I pickled him.
Yeah, you pickled him?
It was essentially a golden pickle. He served first. I got the ball, and then he didn't serve again. So we both, and it was funny because we were talking about it during this, and I literally told him, I was like, dude, all I did was go slower. I like dropped more. I didn't drive it as much. It was just very fascinating to see how much better that worked for singles than the usual swing fast, hard, and panic.
And try to do passing shots and whatnot.
It felt a lot more like, you know, like when you watch Ben, he just looks like he's moving really slow. It was like that is the idea that I was going for.
He's very controlled. Yeah, I think there is something to that. There's a pace of play that you can kind of play, at least in singles. What I've noticed in singles, at least the last few times I've played, is that I look at where I kind of want to be on the court after I've hit the ball, right? Like, so, you know, you hit the ball deep cross court or something, and there's probably an ideal spot for you to be in, right? And I only move as fast as I need to get to that spot. Basically, what I want to do is I want to be able to split step at that spot as soon when my opponent is about to hit the ball. So sometimes I need to move faster to get to that spot I want to be in, so I time it perfectly, or sometimes I need to move slower, right? And it's just, I know it still takes some time like to get used to, but it's interesting that you mentioned that you're playing more steady and you pickled them. So maybe I should implement that a little bit more, because I typically like to play fast, at least when I'm playing singles, and keep the rhythm and the pace up. But I get tired so quick. It's really hard.
Yeah. And at a bare minimum, I think, you know, it probably just depends on your opponent too. Like he was a former tennis player, so drives, you know, his volleys were just so good. Actually, there were several times where I kept putting myself in the same pattern, and as I was hitting the ball, I knew exactly where he was going to hit it, but it was going to be so far away that I was like, well, I can't do anything. But I the same pattern happened, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, something stupid. So I think what I realized even while playing him was like, okay, he wants to volleys. Like, we just need to try and drop more. And if you just play a little more steady, I don't know. It was very interesting. I also would love to see some stats for pickleball, like how many rallies the average like amateur game is before the point ends. Is it 3 balls? Is it 4 balls? And then just make one more extra ball and try and get past that, like the average stat or whatever, and hope they mess it up.
That's interesting to think about too. Well, I mean, yeah, when it comes down to it, pickleball is just about getting the ball over the net, into the box one more time than your opponent. So I guess if you can do that, then theoretically, you should be winning a lot more points and a lot more games.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, try that in your games. I mean, honestly, I think even in doubles it applies too, because I think a lot of people will hit their third shot and kind of rush up and, like, you know, beat the ball to the line and be ready or whatever. But I think if you just go a little slower and like try and be prepped for each ball in transition, like, you'll probably have a better time. So give it a shot. Let me know. It worked great for me in singles. I got to remember to try that more often and not just be running all over the place trying to hit like a sliding backhand winner.
Yeah. Well, I need to go out on the courts. I still haven't played since I got back. I'm still a little jet lagged. So hopefully this week I'll be able to get out on the courts. And there's a bunch of, paddles I need to go out and play with. What have you been playing with lately?
Yeah, so I've been hitting 2 main paddles. I've been hitting the Oya paddles, which people have heard me talk about in my newsletter, Instagram.
Some of the super long handle.
Yeah, 7-inch handle, baby. That thing is, it's so wild. Dude, you pick it up and you're just
swatter.
Like, yeah, basically, it's crazy. Like, I don't know. It's it's for sure one of the more unique paddles on the market. No one's gone to handle that long. And I don't even know if it's optimal for the handle to be that long. I would personally say for the vast majority of people, no, you don't. But for the group of people that really want that handle or really have huge hands or really don't want to put their finger on the back of the paddle, this is pretty much the only paddle that's gonna do it for you. And I promise you, unless you are 6'9" and have the biggest hands in the world, like, you will fit 2 hands on this paddle just fine.
Okay.
So that's one of them. And then the other one has been the Vatic Prism. And we hit that in when we were with Jordan.
Colorado.
And we already liked it, dude, after playing with it more. This is easiest recommendation of my life. I don't even...
That is a really good paddle.
Dude, it's stupid how good that paddle is for $100.
Yes.
It will absolutely, unless someone tells me very specific criteria that a paddle must meet, and if the Vatic doesn't fit it, it will absolutely be my default recommendation for that price range. With a discount code, it's $90.
Right.
That's
Use
the price of a
Pickleball
Z5.
Will to save money and to help me pay for my cost of being on vacation. Thanks.
Hey, editor, make sure to bleep that out and put PB Studio. I'm just kidding. Don't bleep that out.
No. But seriously, that thing is so good. I haven't put any more that much time into it, but for the short period of time that we did play with it and hit with it with Jordan in Colorado, it was, that thing's a winner. And one of the best values, and not even just for the price, it's just a good paddle, period. It's just a good one. Yeah.
It's on the softer side. So if, like, people are, if you're not looking for a soft paddle, you might not want that. It's definitely a control paddle. The only other thing I would say about it is the V7 is extremely head heavy. Mine in the swing weight machine was 128, which is what the original Hyperion was. So if that was ever a problem for you, don't get the V7. The Flash is 114, which is absurd how much lower that is. That's like so much faster than 128. So if hands matter, buy the Flash.
Gotcha. Okay.
You liked the V7, didn't you?
I did. I didn't really get a chance to hit with the Flash that much, but when I got the V7, yes, I liked it a lot. The touch was great. The feel was great on the drives. Everything just felt in tune. It just felt natural. It just had a nice pop, and like I really felt like the ball pocketed in that paddle really well. And yes, it was a joy to use, I would say.
Nice. Yeah. Well, the only other thing I want to talk about really quick for me, and then if you have anything else, we can go over it. But I'm working on a new video series. It's kind of like me getting better at the game, and also like a challenge video. I don't really think anyone's done it in pickleball yet, so I'm excited to try it out. But I had to borrow a friend's ball machine because I need a ball machine in order to do this. And so then I realized, I was like, well, if I'm going to borrow this thing for like a week, I should just like review the thing. I'm going to be using it a ton. So then I was like, this could be my first ball machine review. And then since I need to do this for 2 weeks, I didn't want to steal his for that long. So then I just went ahead and bought the Slinger bag because
so you bought a ball machine.
Yeah, I also bought one, but it'll probably come sometime next week. So I'm using the Tutor Plus in the meantime, and then I'll have the Slinger, and then I'm gonna, I'll probably do a little bit of a comparison, review them separate. The Slinger, from what I can tell, seems to be a much more convenient bag, but maybe the features are a little better on the Tutor Plus, but the price is also astronomically different. So I'm kind of excited to do something different and review a ball machine.
Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that because I mean, I know we've talked about me and my content and doing some different things, like going to different places to essentially showcase or review a court or a facility within the community. But I have thought about doing some of similar challenges like you were talking about. I was like, I played like Riley Newman for like 30 days just to hold the grip that he does, the pancake, to see what comes out of it. And I also got the Project Labs net. Selkirk sent it to me. Perks of working at Selkirk. So I'm gonna essentially put it together. I'm gonna go to my friend's court. He has one in his backyard that he just built, but he uses a temporary net. So I was like, this is a perfect place to try it out. And I'm gonna review this net to see what's up. So I think that'll be interesting and different as well. So looking forward to doing more things like that as well.
I did also have them send me the shoes, the Selkirk Lab shoes. I had them send me.
Are you gonna review shoes?
I'm going to try it. I do not plan, just so people do not get the wrong idea, I do not plan to review shoes on this channel. The only reason I did it was because they were Selkirk shoes, so it's like a little more relevant to pickleball. If you guys actually want shoe reviews, go watch Zach the Foot Doctor. That guy is like me, but for court shoes.
Court shoes.
He's so good. He is how I landed on like all the shoes that I've ever used. So he's awesome. Go check him out. But I'm going to try it just because I was like, well, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to try. So I actually had them send me both pairs and then Isaac both pairs. So that way there's, two different people can kind of give their perspective on like longevity, the feel of the shoe, were they comfortable? Because that's the main reason I haven't done shoes is people's feet are so different that it's just impossible. Like here's the thing, with a pickleball paddle, if I don't like power paddles, I can still recognize that this is a good paddle, but it just isn't for me. If a shoe is too wide or too narrow and I can't even like run in it, you can't even give an opinion on the shoe. So that's why I've never done shoes. It's just like,
right. I think you'd also have to know quite a good deal amount of just shoes, but not only shoes, but how people's like feet are, and essentially you're a foot doctor, right? Yep. So you understand the foot, the bones, the muscles, the structures, and the problems that come with it. So if you understand those, then you have more knowledge to base your opinions and comparisons on. And I mean, I totally agree with you. I wouldn't know, I don't know enough about feet or shoes to give a proper review. I can tell you what I like and I don't like, and I can tell you how my feet are. I have like semi flattish feet, and my feet are, I think, what they call pronated out a little bit. They're not supinated. I have really low arches, so that's why I like shoes that feel closer to the ground, nothing that's too high, and anything with too high of arch support just does not work for me. It starts to hurt like a little bit. So
yeah, it's going to be really interesting to mess with that. I'll probably be wearing those for the next couple weeks until I either decide if they're not comfortable, wore them out, or who knows, maybe it'll be the best shoe ever. I don't know, but we'll find out, and I'll let you know. So we're branching out into some new territory.
Exciting stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
so
man.
That's pretty much it for me. Will, did you have anything else?
Okay, well, I guess if you made it this far, welcome to the kitchen. Maybe I will regale you, if you guys care, about an adventurous night I had in Italy. If you guys don't care about that, you can just sign off right now. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Pickleball Studio and our podcast, and leave a review. So I'm going to tell you one story, and it's kind of like something this day could have like a movie could have been made out of it. Okay, so me and my group, we go to a coastal town. I think it was in, was it Salerno? I think it was Salerno. I could be wrong, or maybe it was Vietri. No, okay, it was this town called Vietri, and basically we're trying to go to the beach. Okay, we go to this beach. It's a private beach, right? And they basically with umbrellas and cabanas and stuff, and they wouldn't let us on because there was plenty of open cabanas, and they said that they were reserved, right? And thank goodness for my friend Cora, because she's half Italian, so she speaks the language. I could not imagine trying to, do this without her. But they didn't have any things for us. But as we're walking up and down the boardwalk, and granted, there is a public part of the beach as well, but it's just smaller and it was packed, right? But I was like, you know what? This stretch of beach is so large. How would they know? How would they even know? So we just took our stuff. We went to a cabana, like literally right up against the water, and we just like chilled there. So we stole this cabana for like a whole entire day, right? And, nothing bad happened. And honestly, we're feeling good, right? And we're about to go back to our Airbnb, go back home, ride the bus home. But then my girlfriend B was like, you know what? I'm not done with this. Let's go party. Or like, let's go to the town of Amalfi. And we're like, okay, cool. So we're trying to take the ferry boat ride there, and we're trying to buy tickets to that town and then back to our current town that we're at right now, so we can take the bus and the train back to our Airbnb because we already bought return tickets, right? But they told us that the last ferry leaves at 7, but I saw that there was times for like 9 or 9:30 or something like that. But they said there's a crazy party or parade that is happening in another town, and they're just all forms of public transportation is shut down after 7 p.m. up until midnight. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to party until midnight. It's like 7 o'clock right now, 7 o'clock right now. But then my girlfriend B was like, nah, Evan, let's go check this out. And I'm like, what? You for real? All right. Okay. Just know that we have to be out there like for another like 5-6 hours. And you're like, yeah. She was like, I think things are going to work out. Let's do it. So we end up going, and then we end up going to the wrong town. Like we thought it was this one town. We totally go past it. And then we're like, this doesn't seem like the place. Although that town of Maiori was really nice. And then we asked some people around, they're like, oh yeah, it was in this other town called Chitara. And that was the town that we passed. So we rushed to try to make this last like ferry boat to get there. And we used up like our tickets because we missed, like if we stopped by the ticket counter, we would not have made it in time. So our return ferry ticket was the one we used to get back to the town. So now we have no more ferry tickets. Okay, we couldn't buy any more because they were all closed down. We get to the place, and basically they were having a parade for their saint of that town. I think it was like St. Peter's. And then people are dressed in all garb, and they're holding the statue of their saint that's like made out of gold through the city, and it's just crazy. Like, I mean, it was a big festival for sure. But long story short, we go eat. We're having a good time. The town is packed. We got drinks at this bar that's right up against the boardwalk. And as soon as they brought the speakers out, okay, they brought like these big speakers out. My friend Cora was like, oh, guys, I've been waiting for this. They're playing reggaeton. And she was like, yeah, let's go. I've been waiting to thump my booty for like a week straight. And I was like, okay, Cora, let's go. And so, yeah, we're dancing out. And we literally started this dance party on the boardwalk, right? And I feel like we were definitely like the life of this party. And there's these two older ladies, right? They understood the assignment. They must have been their late 60s. They came up and they just started dancing with us, and we were just having a good time. In fact, it was getting so crazy that we had to leave and get water and stuff, and like the whole entire boardwalk is dancing. But as we're moving through the boardwalk, people were like pointing at us and like tapping us and like clapping for us, like, yo, that's them. Those are the ones. Those are the party starters. Like, we're like, what? It's crazy. Okay, it's crazy. And granted, we're having a good time. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, we have to stay here until midnight. We're going to be stuck here because we have no way to get back home. No way. We're like, just what are we going to do? So anyways, we get our water and stuff. We come back to the boardwalk. We're chilling, eating cotton candy, drinking water. And people recognize us, and they are egging us to come back on. Like, yo, come back. you gotta come back. You know, they're speaking Italian. You know, they're yelling "Andiamo" and shit. I was like, oh gosh, that's the one word I do know. Right? Yeah. So we go, and there's like this guy. I don't know, him and his friends. They must have been the early 20s, late teens, or whatever. But they were extremely inebriated, and they were just, you know, tossing people and me into mosh pits and whatnot. One of them, I don't know what happened. They just like challenged me to do push-ups in the middle of the freaking circle. I don't know what happens. I started doing it, and before I knew it, the alcohol was kicking in. You know, I was like breakdancing a little bit, you know, shutting the shit down. It was awesome. And here's the thing, in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, how are we gonna get back home? We're gonna have to sleep on these streets. Okay. Like, but here's the crazy thing. Remember those two old ladies I was telling you about that came to dance with us? Their names were Lucia and Nadia. They just befriended us, and they're just, you know, chatting with us. They're like, oh, where are you guys staying at or whatever? It's like, oh, we're in this little mountain town further up north called Corpo de Cava. And they're like, no way, we live in that town. And we're like, what? And so basically they're like, we'll give you a ride. And I'm like, no freaking way. What are the chances? There are thousands of people here.
Yeah.
Okay, thousands. And then like the two people that came to dance with us, befriended us, happens to stay at, like, live in the same town we go that we do. But here's the thing: we still have to take. What I found out was that their driver, their car was not in that town. It was in the the next town over that we came from, right? And they had boat tickets. We did not. And we're like, okay, how are we gonna get there? And Lucia and Nadia were like, you know, don't even worry about it. Just come with us. Okay, just follow us. And we're like, what? Are you sure? All right. And basically, when it was time to go, after the fireworks went off and everything, and thousands of people are going towards the dock to the pier to get on these ferry boats or whatever. I don't know how it happened, but we just followed these two older ladies, and they were just cutting through, and like security and stuff would try to stop them. I don't know what they said to them, but they were just cutting through like butter, and we were just following them, and somehow we made it on one of the first ferry boats. But here's the thing: we were so terrified that we were not going to make it because we didn't have any like boat tickets. Even the guys at the boats and the security like, whoa, where's your ticket? Right? And I could tell Lucia and Nadia's like, no, they're Americans, they don't know any better or whatever. They're like, oh, stupido Americans. And then the guy was like, yo, what do I care if they're Americans or not? No ticket, no boat. No ticket, no boat. And I don't know what happened, but somehow we got on this boat. We snuck on this boat, and then we made it back. Like, I was like, what just happened? Is this real? How do we make it back? I woke up and I thought it was all a dream. Like, that's how crazy it was.
Dude, I just don't understand how you got on the boat. Like, there are several things in that story. Maybe now that I'm older, I would handle it better, but younger me would have been freaking out about not knowing how I was going to get back. First, even the cabana story, being like, bro, I probably would have been like, dude, we got to pay for this. Like, we're going to get caught, probably going to get in trouble, go to jail or something stupid. Like, the whole thing, younger me would have been losing my mind. So, I mean, honestly, even older me, I don't think I would have been freaking out, but I think I would have been going, maybe we should not go if we don't know how we're going to get back. So, dude, I don't know. That's crazy. That could have ended very differently.
This is true. I was thinking these things, like, you know, since I'm older now, I was thinking these things, but for whatever reason, just one or two people in the group was like, nah, things are going to work out. They had a feeling, and you know what? It worked out way better than I could have ever imagined. It was amazing.
You could have been, instead of Pickleball Will, you could have been Homeless Will.
Yeah, I could have been Homeless Will. I was prepared for that contingency or that result, right? Those consequences. I was ready to just sleep out on the streets, like on this beach, until whenever the train, you know, is opened back up.
There's only one way the story could have been crazier. Only one.
What?
And that's if somebody had come up to you and said, Pickleball Will.
No, that would be nuts.
That would be nuts. But dude, yeah, that is just an absolutely crazy story. I mean, I'm glad you guys made it back, but holy moly, very brave to assume you make it. And then just still the fact that you got on that boat with those two. It's just wild. That's crazy to me.
No, yeah, it was a good time. We hung out with them a couple days later, got coffee with them. They took us hiking and stuff. So,
dude, they could have been different. They could have just been kidnappers.
Yes, I guess these two little old Italian ladies definitely could have been. They could have been part of the mafia or something.
I mean, yeah, you never know. In a different country, different rules, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yes,
right.
definitely different rules.
But anyways, as fun as it was, I'm glad to be back. We're here, recording the pod. I'm getting to play pickleball again, and got a lot of work to catch up on. So it's great to be back. Great to be back on the pod. Hopefully, you guys missed me as well, and you don't have to listen to Chris solo doloing another episode, at least not for a while.
Well, I was thinking about this. We might have to pre-record, or I will have to solo because you're gonna be gone for like
True.
another 2 weeks with Beer City Open in Seattle.
You're right.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. We'll think of something.
Maybe I'll bring my stuff. We might be able to record over the interwebs.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But
yeah.
All right. Well, good to have you back, Will. We will be back next week, guys, with another episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.
Later. Peace.